Hey, what's up YouTube? So today is that video of me transferring everything from my Red Sea Max E170 to the Red Sea Reefer 300 G2. And to be honest, doing the voiceover is really upsetting because this was the last time I saw my OG bounce. During this transfer, guys, I don't know, just me being uncareful. I didn't notice that the OG bounce had detached itself from the rock, or it could possibly been the glue. The glue that we use, most of us use from the dollar store. When I was removing the rock, the OG bounce disc detached itself, and when I noticed that the OG bounce was gone or wasn't there at the rock, it was already too late. I do remember flushing the old water down the toilet, and I remember by the corner of my eye seeing like a fleshly dark object being flushed on the toilet, and most likely it was the OG bounce, because not only did I flushed water down the toilet, but I threw it outside the house. I tried to look over all over the tank and outside the house and never found it. So that is that. Now let's dive into this video. Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Carlos with Twins Reef, and I finally transferred everything from my Red Sea Max E170 to the new Red Sea Reefer 300 G2 aquarium. I am running the AI Primes 13s and the AI Primes 16th on this tank. And before we dive in to everything in this aquarium, I want to give you guys some sad news. So while I was transferring everything, guys, this was on a Sunday. I was trying to do everything fast, and somehow my OG bounce detached itself from the rock, and I guess I flushed the OG bounce on the toilet, because when I was actually rockscaping the aquarium, I noticed that the OG bounce was nowhere to be found, and I do remember seeing like a fleshly thing going underneath the toilet. So I know it should be exciting for me transferring everything to this new tank, but again, the OG bounce was my prized possession. It was the jewel of my tank. It was the centerpiece of my reef tank. And unfortunately, I lost it because I did everything incorrectly, or in other words, I hurried myself on the process, and I was being uncareful. I wasn't being careful, on how I should have done things. It was out of nowhere, me transferring my things to this tank. I didn't plan it out. I just decided, hey, let me just transfer everything to the tank, because this tank has been ready for about 2 weeks. It has been cycled for 2 weeks already. And I was like, you know what? It's been ready for 2 weeks already. Why am I lagging on transferring everything? So I just thought to myself, I have some time. Let me transfer everything. And again, it was unplanned. And the consequences of me not being organized and not being careful, unfortunately, I lost my OG bounce. All right, let's dive into the reef tank. And for those that have been following along, let's start off with the Rockscape, because in the last video, I did mention that I was thinking of buying new rocks. I was thinking of going with Carib Sea Rio Reef Tree Rocks. I think that's the name of the rocks that they sell. I wasn't really trying to transfer over the rocks from the existing Red Sea Reefer or the Red Sea Max E170, because I was trying to avoid pests or whatever unwanted critters that I had on my rocks. Not only that, these rocks at one point were covered with hair algae and bubble algae. I never saw any critters or anything I should have been concerned about. The only thing that I was concerned about were the bubble algae and hair algae. But going to my local pet store, I mentioned to the owner of the Reef store that I was having issues with bubble algae and hair algae, and that's when he told me to get myself a fox face fish, and that within a week or two, there will be no more hair algae or bubble algae on my rocks. And that was true. So within 2 weeks, there was no more signs of any bubble algae and hair algae in the rocks, and also on the corals. So I then thought to myself, hey, if I was to buy new rocks, if there was any unwanted critters on my existing rock, it's really hard to avoid any hitchhikers when it comes to the reef tank. Even though sometimes you might dip your corals, there's always that chance of you actually introducing unwanted hitchhikers to your reef tank. So then I was like, hey, if I was to buy new rocks, especially the Carib Sea dry rock, I was going to spend anywhere from $300 to $400, especially knowing me that I was going to want a exotic, nice looking rockscape. And at the end of the day, the rockscape might be good, but once you start to add corals, that rockscape, you won't be able to tell how nice the rockscape was, because the corals are just going to overpopulate it and remove that attention from the rockscapes, and that attention is going to be towards the corals. And I actually thought that these rocks weren't going to be enough. So there isn't a big difference, on the dimensions of this tank compared to the Red Sea Max E170. Probably this tank is about a foot longer or wider, and the depth, the width of it is probably like a couple inches. But I know, even though those numbers aren't, that big of a difference, it actually makes a difference. So I was thinking on the rockscape, I was thinking actually of having like one rock island here, another one in the center, and the other one on the other side. But these rocks were just enough, or maybe a little bit too much for this tank. But I mean, it looks nice. I like how it turned out to be. Let me give you guys a side view on the rocks. This is the left side of the scape. It took me a little bit more than an hour to get the scape how I actually wanted it to be. One thing that I like is that this man-made rock that I bought from a Corals Farmers Market show, so it already has the holes for the frag plugs, and I'm thinking of actually getting some SPS, beginner SPS there, since it's closer to the top of the tank, so it's going to be getting more of the light towards it. And yeah, it was really hard doing the rockscape. Really patient though. I had to be really patient on it. Then I got this large rock right here. I got 3 pieces, like I mentioned in the last video, from my local pet store. So that's like a flat rock that I could put corals there. Then my anemones are there. Then we have this arch right here, but it's covered with spicy lemon fabia. So what I'm thinking of doing with this rock here is probably selling it or trading it in to the local store and getting myself another piece like this, because I do not want the spicy lemon fabia to overpopulate and grow on the rocks. As you guys can see here, there's some trace of spicy lemon fabia. Same here at this rock, there's more spicy lemon fabia, and over here, so most likely those are going to overpopulate. So I got to figure a way how to get rid of those. If not, I'm going to have to get rid of the rocks completely. But I really like how the rockscape turned out to be. So I have a nice area where I could put corals here. I'm thinking putting scolies in this section, probably acants, not sure yet. I do have my little hammer corals right here. They are acclimating to the tank, to the light, so I placed them here, and I also don't have any glue at the moment to place them at their permanent spots. And talking about spicy lemon fabia on the rock, there's another piece of spicy lemon fabia there. Now let's turn to the right side of the tank, and this is how the tank looks from the right side. This was the hardest. I kind of don't like how it turned out to be because of this big bulky rocks. But you know, it is what it is. Nothing's gonna come out perfect. One thing I do like the fact that, you know, it has little crevices where the fish could swim through. Not only that, but where the water flow could actually go through here and get rid of any debris or food that was uneaten. Also, if you guys pay attention on the back of the tank, you know, the corals or the rocks actually are not they're not close to the glass or to the end. That way water could flow through it, not only there but also from the top, which I'll show you guys later. So yeah, this is the Rockscape. This is how it looks. I actually like this tank. I think this is the perfect dimension for a reef tank. If you don't want to have like a too big of a tank or a too small of the tank, I think 70 gallons is just perfect. Now let's jump in to the fish. Let's talk fish. So as you guys can see, my hippo tank is doing well. It's healthy. It's eating. I did decided to put my black storm clownfish, or actually the gold nugget, because the gold nugget was on the 20-gallon drop off innovator marine tank. So as you guys know or didn't know, the gold nugget was a fish that I always wanted to keep. I remember when these fish were close to $100. And one time I think I saw them for 50 and I bought it. And being my first favorite fish, you know, I set up the 20-gallon for it. When they were at, so I actually introduced him to the Red Sea Max E170, and there I will never see no aggression. But now that I placed them here, I actually see it, you know, here and there try to attack the Ocellaris Black Storm. I know these are two different type of clownfish, and I'm aware that, you know, they might show some aggressiveness to one another, especially the gold nuggets is a maroon clownfish, and those tend to be a little bit more aggressive. They also grow a little bit larger than the regular Ocellaris clownfish, or the Percula, if that's the proper name, clownfish. He's so lucky he has two anemones to swim to or call home. I have my anemone actually on top next to the other one, but when it got transferred to the tank, it's been, you know, trying to find its own location. So yeah, so that is the Black Storm. We have the gold nugget, beautiful. So if I see that they keep, you know, attacking each other, showing aggression to one another, I'm probably gonna get rid of one of them. I don't know which. As for the Black Storm, when it came out, I was like, oh man, that fish is beautiful. It's nice, exotic. I want it, and I did buy it. This was actually I bought it as a Mocha Storm. I had bought a pair. The other one jumped off when they were in the 20-gallon tank. And they both turned to be Black Storms, so they morphed over time. So I've been having this fish for, you know, a little bit more than 2 years. The Fox Face 2, I actually thought about rehoming him or trading him in for some credit. I had him in the sun, but then I felt bad for him and I brought him here to the display. Since I had transferred all the fish over here, I was like, hey, it's my opportunity to actually rehome them and catch them to be easier, since, you know, his top dorsal fins, or I don't know what you call them, you know, they are poisonous. They are toxic. So you have to be careful when you catch these fish. But, you know, he's a hardworking, useful fish. One thing that a reason why I would want to rehome him is because you risk of it eating your corals. So if you don't feed him right, if there's not enough algae or food for him, he will go hungry and start, you know, picking at your coral. So that is something that you got to be aware of. Not all of them do that, but again, they're like the flame angels, the coral beauty angels, that you take a chance when it comes to them eating corals. And another fish that I have, it's always here. It's the mandarin. It's been here. You know, this is the second day of the tank being set up. So my mandarin's doing, it's there. Here and there I'll see it swimming around, but most of the time it's here. Then another fish that actually, it's always between the rocks, is the, I was gonna say Royal Garama, but I forgot its name. Purple dottyback. The purple dottyback. It's somewhere there. Oh, there it is. I just saw him swim. So he was somewhere here. And last time I saw it, yesterday, it's always somewhere right here where this little cave is at. Oh, he's right here. I see him. Unfortunately, the camera's not gonna pick it up because the shadow. But he's basically somewhere right there. All I can tell you guys, he's doing fine. Now let's start with the corals. Again, they're not all open up to their full potential or how they should be, but one of them here is the jawbreaker mushroom. This thing's a beauty. It's beautiful. So I was being careful when scaping or rock scaping the tank, because you know I have mushrooms attached to these rocks as well as the spicy lemon phibia, so I wanted them to be facing where, you know, I could see them. Then we have the Superman mushrooms here with the sun-kissed mushrooms as well. And then the golden gonzos, they never grew. They always stayed, you know, small. And then we have the super freak mushroom as well. And then we have this another sun kiss. Let's see if the camera's gonna pick it up. No, it doesn't want to. So we have a sun kiss right there. Fortunately, the camera's not gonna pick it up. We have the red discosomas that I won in a raffle. Supposedly they were wild Deadpool mushrooms, but that was wrong. They're just regular discosomas. So be careful when you guys get things from vendors, because they will label something that it ain't. Like these red discosomas, they had them as Deadpools, and they were actually even selling them at one point. But yeah, they're red discosomas. There's nothing special about them, but they're still beautiful corals. Then we have the lactus mushroom, doing good. Again, the corals are not opened up, you know, to their actual size, since this is their second day at the tank. Because I can tell you this, a lactus mushroom is bigger. It's as big as that disc. So is that red discosoma there. It's actually as big as that disc as well. Then we have the trumpet corals are doing all right. By right, I'm meaning that one in the back, the nuclear green. I don't know if that's what's the proper name, or the candy cane trumpet coral. And that one isn't doing that well, but this trumpet on the front is. Then this acan isn't doing so well since it was stung by my hairy mushrooms. Talking about hairy mushrooms, there I found like 2 or 4 attached to the rocks, and actually scraped them off. Threw them away because they overpopulate, and not only that, they are aggressive. And I found out how aggressive they are when they started killing my acans. Then this is one of the survivors from the mushroom attack. And then we have like this rainbow acan. You know, it's not doing so well either. And so the blastos too, it's not doing so well. One thing I noticed on the Red Sea Max E170, that all my LPS started to die. At first I thought, you know, it might be a pest. It might be something that you know, a pest that attacks LPS corals, but I found none. Then I thought it could have possibly been the salinity. So I never got in depth on, you know, actually testing the water column, what's actually in the water. So it could have probably been like a bad batch of salt, which I cannot blame the salt or say that it was that. All I could do is assume, because they were all doing well, and next thing you know, all my LPS started to die off. By LPS, that's the acans, the blastos, and some of my hammers and my torches out of nowhere. Not only that, but I don't know if this dragon sulfide is considered an LPS, but it basically died too. It just started to melt and die. So again, I don't know what it could be. The only things that were doing well were all the softies, like all the mushrooms. I know they're hardier corals, so they're the ones, you know, that never showed any type of, you know, of them being tempered or discomforted by anything in the water. And you know, the corals acting up and dying and shrinking, that's one reason why I wanted to go with new rocks, because I was like, hey, what about if there's a pest, an unwanted critter on the rocks, a microscopic critter that's attacking or eating, bothering my corals? Because I've had issues before with hydragons, if that's the name of that pest, because I know hydrangea is a plant, but forgot the name of them, but there's something like that. Hydrangea pest, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Not only that, but majongos, those are other pests that you do not want. One pest that I did see was, I have a couple of ball anemones in the rock. I try to do my research on the forums, asking groups on Facebook, but every time I ask, people would just say that they don't bother them, they actually like them. And I couldn't find anything on Google, you know, regarding them causing any issues or how to get rid of them. So you know, I took that risk of just, you know, using these rocks. I did scraped and brushed off these rocks before introducing them to this tank. So we'll see if we got rid of some. I doubt we did. So they did overpopulate, I think, even though you can't really tell or you can't really see, because you can't right now. It's probably because I was overfeeding and not doing water changes as much as how I should. And then yeah, so these anemones are actually new to the tank. I bought 2 anemones for $40, and they are nice. I mean, they're doing good so far. It's the second day they're doing good, so finger crossed on them. As them being at the Red Sea Max 170, they were doing good. That tank was already established, basically. So you know, this tank has been cycled, so I'm hoping everything makes it. I'll keep you guys updated with within a week or two. I'm not gonna buy any new corals until I see, you know, everything is established. Testing the water, make sure everything is fine. As equipment goes, all I'm using is a J-Bow wannabe, what are those freaking geyser or whatever, Geiger pumps right here. That thing's so loud that I just have it like on first speed, because if I put it at 2 or 3, that thing is super loud. So I'm gonna get a new wave maker. Oh, I forgot. So my Euphilia here, my 2 mushrooms, my 2 hammers are doing good. Then as lights, the AI Prime. So I'm thinking of going with the Red Seas 90s, or with either the Hydros 26 or 32s. It all depends on my budget. As for the sump, damn, it's a mess basically down here. Everything that I had attached right here just fell off, and it just looks disgusting. It looks nasty. So I have to fix that. I've been so busy. We have the Simplicity skimmer running. Hasn't produced any skimmet. I did turn it off for about a week when I added the Fritz beneficial bacteria, as you know, instructed on the bottle. You know, then I did add that marine pure block. I cutted it, and one of the pieces, or the other half, it's actually in the Red Sea from our freshwater, and this one is here. One thing I noticed here on the skimmer, you can actually see the micro bubbles, so I gotta figure out a way how to get rid of the micro bubbles. I am using the stock water reservoir. I did talk to a local store where I bought this tank, and they are going to sell me the Red Sea auto top off. It's a $200 product, but they're gonna sell it for me for $100, since Red Sea did just released the Red Sea Reefer 300 G2 Plus. That includes, that auto top off product, which, I don't really need it because I have auto top offs, but I actually liked how, it actually connects to the app. It tells you the temperature of the water. Not only that, it actually detects any leaks. So, if something was to leak at the tank, it will give you a notification. So that comes in handy. I'm using the filter socks that came with the tank. Not with the tank, I actually bought these. One is 100 microns, the other one's a 250 microns. I'm not so sure if I'm gonna use the roller. If I was to use the roller, then that will mean that I have to get rid of this auto top off reservoir and use like another one here, because the Red Sea roller goes right here, the Reef mat. Tank is really silent and quiet. I'm using the titanium heater from let's see what brand it is, from Phoenix. I'm using J Bell return pump. Yeah, so there's gonna be a couple upgrades regarding equipment, but it's gonna take a while. I am using Cami Pure Blue. Try to keep that water crystal clean, crystal clear clean, or whatever. But yeah, tank looks nice, looks beautiful. It looks better in person, guys. Corals too, everything, fishes, everything looks better in person. A video will not make justice on how nice the tank looks. I'm really excited for the future of my reefing hobby. I am gonna take everything slow, be patient. I still have to decide which clownfish I'm gonna keep, because I don't think these fish could get along, as I could see that on my Solaris Black Storm. It looks like the fins have been bit. I don't know if that's true, because I don't know if that's caused because of the gold nugget, because I could also see it here at the hippo tang, that the back fin there, it looks a little bit damaged. So I don't know if that was done with the fish net, or me transferring them over to this tank, scraping through the rock, because I've never seen my gold nugget attack that hippo tank, so I doubt it's because of him. But I'll keep a close eye on all my fishes, and I'm probably gonna sell or trade some corals, trade them in, because I just want to have nice corals here, things that I really will appreciate seeing them. Corals that are not gonna overpopulate, and so I gotta get rid of those spicy lemon phobias for sure. And I'm not so sure if using my old rocks was a good idea or not. Not because I'm scared if they have any pests or unwanted critters, but just because the spicy lemon phobias are attached like in more than 3 rocks. And I already did the scape and I really like it. It looks super nice in person. The camera's gonna show justice on how nicely this Rockscape is. It's super dope. I like it. It's nice. One of the nicest ones I've done so far. Just this tank's so nice. Anyhow, guys, I thank you guys for watching this video on the Red Sea Reefer 300 G2. If you guys like this content, you guys are welcome to hit the like button. You guys are welcome to subscribe, comment anything down below if you guys have any questions, or just want to leave a comment or hate on this video. Tell me how my smoke alarm was annoying. I finally removed the batteries from the smoke alarm. I just changed them. Anyhow, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Happy reefing. Take care. I am out. Peace.